I'm so happy to announce my new album, Happy Together. When my orchestra and I were finally able to get together again, we shared so much. I always had a dream when I was a small boy. My first teacher was a blonde 18-year-old girl.
Another heartbreaking wave has struck Hollywood as André Rieu's son reveals devastating news about the beloved maestro. For over 50 years, André, known as the king of the waltz, has enchanted audiences around the world with his unforgettable music and charm. However, after a string of canceled shows, fans began to worry. Rumors about his health spread quickly, though nothing was confirmed until now. His son, visibly shaken, has finally broken the silence and confirmed the worst. What serious health battle is André Rieu facing? Could this mark the end of a legendary era in classical music? Stay with us as we uncover the emotional details behind André Rieu's tragic diagnosis and a heartfelt farewell from his son. A familiar battle returns. For decades, André Rieu has amazed audiences worldwide with his grand performances and infectious passion for music. As the heart and soul behind the Johann Strauss Orchestra, his concerts are nothing short of magical, drawing fans across generations. However, behind the stunning performances, the Dutch violinist has also faced serious health challenges, ones that nearly brought his career to a halt. Back in 2010, Rieu had reportedly never taken a single day off due to illness. He even claimed he didn't suffer from jet lag, a remarkable feat for someone constantly traveling across continents. But that changed one night during a holiday in Belgium, when Rieu was jolted awake at 3 a.m. by an overwhelming sensation of dizziness. He described the room as spinning uncontrollably and didn't understand what was happening at first. By morning, he reportedly felt broken. Leading up to that moment, Rieu had overloaded his schedule with work and stress. He had rushed to complete a DVD production, started taking intensive Spanish lessons to prepare for concerts in Mexico, and endured extreme heat, all within days. Reflecting on this period, he supposedly admitted that he only operated in two modes: full throttle or complete stop. Though he believed happiness and mental strength could shield him from illness, the incident forced him to reconsider. Doctors later diagnosed him with a vestibular nerve infection, a condition that affects the inner ear and throws off the body's balance system. This condition, which can even be triggered by a common cold, left him feeling nauseous and dizzy whenever he tried to stand. Despite initially downplaying the seriousness, Rieu was eventually forced to cancel entire tours in Australia and the UK. The idea of taking 6 months off was unimaginable for him, not only because of his passion for performing, but also due to the financial responsibility he bore for his large team. He had to undergo a brain scan to rule out more serious conditions, such as a brain tumor. Fortunately, nothing else was found. Still determined to recover, Rieu sought out various treatments and even received suggestions from fans online. One fan in Australia reportedly sent a letter recommending specific balance training exercises. Rieu practiced the recommended exercises religiously. These included walking in figure eights, specific eye movements, and standing on one leg with his eyes closed. According to Rieu, the exercises worked wonders, and after 3 months, he was feeling healthy again. His recovery journey led to a significant lifestyle change. He took time to evaluate his commitments and realized that many tasks unrelated to music, such as administrative duties, business openings, and academic talks, were draining him. He reportedly made 2 lists, one with the things he loved and another with the things he didn't. Unsurprisingly, the first list was short and centered entirely around music. The second list, much longer, reflected various stressors he resolved to eliminate from his life. From that point on, Rieu claimed he structured his life around joy, passion, and well-being. Medical experts have noted that vestibular neuritis typically resolves within weeks, though a small percentage of cases may relapse. Rieu was aware of this risk and acknowledged that stress could trigger a recurrence. Determined to protect his health, he committed to focusing only on the work he truly loved. However, years later, troubling news has resurfaced. His son recently revealed that Rieu is once again facing a serious health scare, news that has alarmed fans and rekindled painful memories of his earlier ordeal. Could this be another relapse, or is he now battling something even more serious? the worst fear became a reality. Everything had been perfectly planned. André Rieu and his orchestra had returned to Mexico after 6 long years, and fans were ecstatic. The excitement was palpable. Concerts were sold out, and the first 2 performances in Mexico City were a success. But less than 24 hours after the second show, disaster struck. Rieu suddenly fell ill, and what many had feared was quickly confirmed. He had contracted a strong flu that came with a high fever and total exhaustion. The tour could not continue. The remaining concerts had to be canceled. His son, Pierre Rieu, later shared the full story. He explained that the long flight, the time difference and the high altitude of Mexico City had already placed a heavy strain on André. With only 1 day of rest before his first show, his body simply didn't have time to recover. The combination of fatigue and environmental stress hit him hard. What began as discomfort quickly escalated into something far more serious. Pierre admitted it was a difficult decision, but when André became seriously ill, there was no other option. The team had to act quickly and fly him home. For the fans, the news was heartbreaking. Many had waited years for this moment, and every concert detail had been meticulously planned. But it wasn't just the audience who felt the loss. The entire crew was devastated. Pierre said that while everyone was deeply disappointed, health had to come first. The fear that something might go wrong had always lingered in the background, and now it had become a painful reality. André remained very ill for several days, barely able to do anything. It was a deeply worrying time. Eventually, he began to feel better, but recovery took nearly a week. Before André Rieu was fully himself again, he had to rest and recover completely. Reflecting on his approach to music, he once said, "Yeah, I think it's possible to have fun also in classical music. I think always, why a guy like Mozart? But this latest health scare was enough to change how his team viewed long-distance tours." Pierre, his son, explained that if they ever returned to Mexico, it wouldn't be before 2025. They would need more time to rest, more careful planning, and far fewer risks. What made this incident even more serious was André's age. At 74, long flights and quick turnarounds had become more difficult than ever. Pierre was candid, admitting that traveling halfway across the world just isn't the same anymore. Trips to far-off places like Australia now seemed nearly impossible. He joked that people often compare André to younger performers or athletes, but pointed out that his father wasn't 30 anymore. The body has limits, and ignoring them could lead to something far worse. Backstage after the second concert in Mexico, André had been in good spirits, smiling, enjoying the moment. But even then, he quietly mentioned to his wife that he wasn't sure he could do this kind of tour again. His body had been sending signals, and this time, it spoke louder than ever. The worst had been confirmed. Pushing through was no longer an option. If he wanted to keep playing music, he had to start listening, to rest when needed and to slow down. Even as Rieu confronted his own limits, the strain was evident across his entire team. The high altitude and demanding conditions were taking a toll on everyone. Performing at over 2,000 meters above sea level meant less oxygen, and it showed. Donna Alberti, one of Rieu's lead singers who had been traveling with him since January, said she could feel the effects during rehearsals. Her face would flush red, and nosebleeds became common among the team. She laughed about it, but admitted it was tough. During her performance of I Will Survive, she even had to stop and drink water mid-song just to get through it. Pierre Rieu expressed pride in his father for knowing when to say it was enough. Canceling the shows had been an incredibly hard decision, but pushing through and potentially collapsing on stage would have been far worse. André wasn't the only one impacted. Around 40,000 fans had to be let down, and a crew of 125 people had to fly home early. The sudden cancellation caused chaos. Refunds, canceled flights, and lost merchandise sales. To make matters worse, the group wasn't even insured for this kind of emergency. Emma, another performer on the tour, revealed that one day she was singing for 10,000 fans, and the next she was hearing that the entire tour was over. Even as she walked down the street, fans still asked for photos, many unaware that this might have been their last chance to see Rieu perform in Mexico. The energy at the venue had been incredible. The area outside had transformed into a vibrant market full of unofficial Rieu merchandise, from mugs and teddy bears to T-shirts. Rieu had laughed about it at the time. During the concert, the crowd chanted his name with passion. "I experience that every night," he said. "And people write me, 'It took me 2 weeks to come down after your concert.'" And even when André Rieu asked his audience to go home during encores, they shouted no until he played again. There had been no sign of what was coming, but in the end, everything came to a sudden stop. Back in Maastricht, resting, André focused on his recovery. Pierre, his son, shared that they were hopeful for the next concert in Liverpool, though it was possible that Mexico had seen its final Rieu performance. André's earlier words, "I just want to stay healthy so I can keep doing this," now felt like a quiet, foreshadowing warning. Unfortunately, this wasn't the first time the stress of Rieu's demanding schedule had deeply affected his crew. When was the first time something like this happened? A heartbreaking loss marked that moment. André had long admitted that stress could dangerously impact his health. He had previously battled a severe inner ear infection caused by overwork, after which he promised to focus solely on what he loved, music. For a while, he appeared to be honoring that commitment. But recent events have rekindled old fears and drawn eerie parallels to past scares. Back in 2016, fans were left deeply concerned when Rieu suddenly canceled several tour dates. The abrupt news sparked intense speculation, with many fearing that the beloved violinist was seriously ill again. Given his prior health challenges, the idea of another relapse didn't seem far-fetched. Whispers and rumors spread quickly. However, it was later revealed that the cancellations were not due to André's own health. Instead, one of his trusted orchestra members had passed away. The emotional toll of that loss was too heavy for Rieu, and he needed time to grieve. Despite the truth coming out, the false rumors had already gained traction. Now, nearly a decade after his personal health breakdown and years after that 2016 tragedy, something similar has occurred again. Earlier today, it was announced that Rieu's sold-out live concert at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham, UK, had been postponed. The reason? A member of the Johann Strauss Orchestra had suffered a heart attack early that morning. According to a statement released by Rieu's production company, André was devastated by the emergency and deeply saddened to cancel the show. The orchestra member remains in critical condition in hospital, and fans have been asked for patience and understanding during this difficult time. A new date for the concert will be announced once the situation stabilizes. Though this cancellation wasn't due to Rieu's own health, many fans were quick to worry. With his history of health scares and emotional sensitivity to such incidents, some began speculating whether the stress and emotional weight of the event could once again impact the world-renowned maestro's well-being. After all, the Johann Strauss Orchestra is not just a group of musicians to Rieu, it's his family on the road. This moment feels especially haunting for longtime fans who remember how quickly concern turned to panic during the 2016 tour. With this new series of emotional and physical challenges, André Rieu seems to be arriving at a deeply personal decision. That decision stems from a deep realization. What choice has André Rieu made? He's chosen to slow the tempo of his life and career. After performing just 2 shows in Mexico, André was forced to cancel the rest of his concerts and fly home to Maastricht due to a sudden illness. It was a major and difficult decision, one that made him realize he might need to slow down, even though he's not emotionally ready to do so. He openly admitted that he still wished he could perform at full speed until the very end, but this time, everything simply became too much. Back home, where he lives with his wife Marjorie, it quickly became clear that trying to make up for the canceled concerts wasn't a realistic option. Rieu doesn't often speak about such matters himself. That role usually falls to his son and spokesperson, Pierre. According to Pierre, multiple factors contributed to his father's health crisis, including the fact that the National Auditorium in Mexico City sits about 2,500 meters, over 8,000 feet, above sea level, a physical challenge in itself. On top of that, André caught a severe flu, which made things significantly worse. Even though Rieu has always prioritized his health through regular exercise, tennis, jogging, and healthy eating, he now faces the unavoidable reality of aging. He takes pride in his stamina. But this time, his body could no longer keep up. His legs were shaking, and he feared he might collapse during a performance. That fear ultimately led to the rare and painful decision to cancel the tour. Pierre revealed that his father had often performed while sick in the past, even with a fever, but this time was different. The burden was simply too much. Though André is now fully recovered, the illness forced the cancellation of 4 concerts, disappointing tens of thousands of fans. While refunds will be issued, no new dates are currently planned. Rieu reportedly told his team he doesn't want to put himself through that kind of physical and emotional strain again. Traveling to distant locations like Mexico or Australia is no longer a guarantee. The long flights, altitude, and time differences have become too exhausting. Still, concerts in Chile, Argentina, and Colombia are scheduled for later in the year, though his team is now evaluating each destination more cautiously. From now on, they've decided to take things 1 year at a time. Although Rieu may reduce long-distance tours, fans from around the world are still welcome to attend his beloved summer concerts in Maastricht, held at Rijsdorf Square. Many believe these events offer the best atmosphere of all his performances. It's hard for André to imagine giving up touring altogether. His passion for music remains too strong. During his illness, he realized just how much he needs his work. Not being able to perform left him feeling restless and unsettled. He even confessed that staying home made him feel crazy. To safeguard his health, Rieu and his team have decided to scale back non-essential obligations, such as interviews, presentations, and press events. When his schedule becomes too hectic, it triggers issues with one of his balance organs, causing dizziness and room-spinning sensations that make it impossible to perform, something he's battled for over 20 years. Still, by managing his energy and being more mindful with his commitments, André Rieu hopes to continue doing what he loves, bringing joy through music for as long as possible. He can, just maybe a little more slowly than before, and by focusing on things that truly matter. So, what are the things André Rieu holds in high esteem? In a heartfelt interview from his castle in Maastricht, Rieu expressed that he still had too much to experience in life to simply spend his days sailing on a cruise ship. Speaking with the Standard, he revealed that while he and his family did take a modest 3-day break in Rome each year, his schedule remained entirely devoted to music. He never considered taking a prolonged break or retiring. As he put it, "It's not just an orchestra, it's my orchestra and I built it. It's my life's work." That wasn't going to change. The interview also highlighted Rieu's characteristic humor, noting that he jokingly declared he was only halfway through his life, given his ambitious and playful plan to live until 140. Despite his age, his mind buzzed with ideas for future tours. He was already envisioning how to surpass his current one. Still, the realization that he needed to slow down had hit hard. André admitted that after concerts, he often had trouble with restless nights, which was dangerous. He turned to baking. He reflected on the challenges during the COVID lockdown. He found solace in watching baking tutorials nothing on his short of torture, and soon his creations became a regular feature on his social media accounts. The hobby grew so much that he even earned a guest appearance on the Dutch version of the Great British Bake Off, known as Heel Holland Backed. While some fans jokingly speculated that he might pivot to a baking career, Rieu made it clear through his spokesperson that, while he enjoyed time in the kitchen, his heart remained with music. This unwavering passion for music continues to drive him, helping him push through challenges and evolve as an artist. "I only play the music that touches my heart," he said, a sentiment that speaks volumes about his commitment and love for his craft. As for his current health status, questions remain. Is this truly the end of performances in far-off places like Australia and other distant countries? Only time will tell. For now, fans continue to hope, reflect, and support the maestro who has brought joy to millions across the globe.